compression fracture is very interesting because sometimes you don't even notice it.
No.
Have you ever heard people say to you, goes, oh, I'm just getting shorter because I'm older?
Oh yeah, they're just losing their height as they go.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I used to be 5'5".
Yeah. So we hear that all the time. I used to be
Mhm.
5'5" and now I'm 5'3". I must be getting older.
Mhm.
But that
No.
could be a compression factor.
Yeah,
a hit,
absolutely.
and that could be an indication that your bone is getting weaker. Now, if they think their bone is getting weaker, what's the next step?
I would say consult your family physician or nurse practitioner. Maybe talk about getting a bone density scan too. That could be a potential. I would also talk about nutrition, maybe exercises to help strengthen up those muscles and make the bones nice and strong.
Mhm.
Those are the things I would say.
Yeah. Now, if you're consulting your family physician, sometimes what they would do is they do some investigation to make sure there isn't like a secondary or cause for osteoporosis, right?
Mhm.
Like what, and those could be related to some medications.
Yeah, so you can take medications that actually reduce your bone density itself. So it does eat away a little bit at the bone. So if anyone is on prednisone, so those glucocorticoid steroids are really hard on your bone health. And then there are other conditions as well. So people with diabetes, cancer, thyroid issues. Even if you have things like celiac disease or food intolerances, if your absorption in your gut is affected in any way,
gluten sensitive,
high risk already. But it can make a difference in how you absorb your calcium and your vitamin D and how your body uses those. So
previous fractures too that you've had in the past.
If you had a fracture or family history. But vitamin D is so important because we live in Canada, and I swear I did not see the sun today.
No.
So and certainly I wasn't out there suntanning.
No.
So I would say most people in Canada, you especially how long the winter is, would require supplementation for vitamin D3.
Yeah.
So you talked about nutrition, right?
Calcium too.
So calcium is interesting because calcium, ideally, you should get it from food.
Yes.
Okay. But so you want to see if you're getting enough through food, but you don't want to take supplements if you're getting enough already, because it can cause atherosclerosis, like make your arteries harder. So you just want to, if you're not sure, you can do a calculator. You just want to be a little bit careful with the calcium.
And pro tip, actually, there is what's called the nutrient calculator through the Osteoporosis Canada website. It allows you to put things in. It puts in your age, lets you know how much of each you need for the day, more so than anything. And then it has great resources for you to see what actually contains those things in terms of food sources, which is fantastic because
it's great.
I don't necessarily know what
vitamin and even D. They suggest different types of programs too, like Bone Fit Canada. Like
you're both Bone Fit certified. So what kind of things that you learned from Bone Fit that maybe you didn't know before?
Ooh, that's hard.
I feel like a lot of it was more so mentality wise, personally for me, because I even remember as a kid learning about osteoporosis really briefly, and it was always described as the little old lady disease for some reason. And now looking back, I'm almost offended by that because it's so far from the truth. But it affects men and women. It affects younger women too. There's so many different causes that can go into it, that it's not just 80-year-old women. We've had 40-year-old women come in with this condition, and they're young moms and still trying to be active and maintain their day to day. So it's not just
it starts specific age group. It can start younger.
No discrimination there.
Well, but certainly we know that the peak bone and muscle mass is at around age 20, 30. But those are the age, like your age group, basically. This is when you're building bone and muscle. But you're also that age that thinks nothing is going to hurt you. You're certainly not going to think down, oh, I'm doing something today so that 40 years from now, I'm not going to be able to, like I can continue to ski. You don't really think that way. So how do you change that thinking?
Mentality? I would say, like, I think being proactive and realizing that, like osteoporosis is like a huge thing in females
Mhm.
and in men as well. And like you said about our developing our bone strength in this age group that we're in, I think that we should start being proactive and start, taking care of our health and not just saying that you're young and we're fine and we're not going to break anything. But I think, that will catch up to us eventually. So I say being more proactive and, getting exercises done, and not just because we're young, like start getting that now, I would say, and making sure nutrition is good.
That's true. And I have a little bit of a cheat code. I mean, I work with people that are aging actively, which kind of puts me in that mindset of things I need to be doing at this point in time to make sure I can continue to do those things. And I do think it's hard. We have such busy lives. Like we're working, we're trying to hang out with friends, we're trying to fit all these things in. But at the end of the day, this is kind of our time to proactively avoid things being hard in the future. And it's going to be hard at some point, which is something that is difficult to digest. So it's either going to be hard now or it's going to be harder in 20 years. And you kind of have to choose your battle there of which hard you'd like to fight.
So let me ask you then, think back when you were 20. Now, if you were talking, like, what would you say if you heard someone say that to you?
I'd say you're you're like, a lot of BS coming out of your mouth right now.
Right. So it's like, so that's the challenge we have. Like, how do you reach the teenagers? How do you reach the early 20s? Like you both are in the field of bone fit and educating and fitness and wellness. So for you is no brainer.
Yeah.
But if you put yourself like back 10 years, you're like, how do I talk to myself then?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Look in a mirror, definitely, and be like, well, knowing me and how many injuries I've had, they're starting to creep up on me. But like looking back, I would say like be more careful. Maybe listen to people when they talk to you. Maybe be more careful. Maybe don't go so fast.
But would you listen to them?
I would hopefully try to. I know like the little inside me, like I'll be fine. But I think it's very hard with that age group because you're learning to be independent. You're learning to have your own life and start creating that. So it's very hard to be.
You just kind of stopped listening to what everybody else was saying.
You have your freedom at that
I'm ready
point.
to seize the day.
Yeah.